Welcome back, everybody. Media reports from shady sources are stirring the fire for what may or may not happen in Ferguson, Missouri. There are groups supposedly calling for the burning and looting of businesses. Local peaceful demonstrations are held, and the region waits for what could be a disaster. And of course, they and so many others are now hoping that cooler heads will prevail as we prepare for the grand jury's deliberations to be announced. So let's welcome back to MidPoint. He is the host of the top-rated radio talk show in the St. Louis market, weekday mornings 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. You can also catch it on the web or, and that means going to 971talk.com. Jamie Allman joins us. Jamie, pleasure to talk to you again.
Nice talking to you, too. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure. Jamie, we just got done speaking to one of the reverends who are there actually at ground level, and this is Reverend Carlton Lee, who was at a sermon where he was wearing a T-shirt called Arrest Him Now, speaking about Darren Wilson. It leads many around the nation to think that there are factions in Ferguson, and we've heard a lot of the reports, too, and seen a lot of the websites calling for violence, calling for more if they don't get what they consider justice. What's the truth from what you hear on the ground?
Well, the truth of the matter is that individuals like Reverend Lee and others are, according to the law enforcement sources I'm talking to, are the least of the concerns of law enforcement people and indeed even the public. Reverend Lee and other individuals like him hold a certain opinion about the process and about what happened. And, of course, not only are they entitled to that, but they are respected still on the street because they have been encouraging nonviolence. They are actually doing a lot to stem the flow of violence and looting and have condemned it, as well as Michael Brown's family. The people who are of utmost concern to the authorities, including the FBI, which has now gotten involved in the situation, are the groups from the outside who are simply using this particular situation, not even in some cases knowing exactly what the intricacies are of the situation, to advance their own individual causes, and they're doing it under cover of what could be chaos. And it's gotten to the point right now in St. Louis where the situation has gone beyond just the concerns of people hitting the street in Ferguson or beyond. There are organized individuals, some of whom are offshoots and tied to Occupy Wall Street, who are others who are not really as familiar with this town, and so that's why you're seeing these lists of landmarks and things like that, and Anheuser-Busch, who have nothing to do with the situation, as being targets of protest. So Reverend Lee and these guys are turning out to actually be the least of the concerns of people, and in fact, I've talked to a lot of these individuals who are from the demonstration corps, and they have been honestly committed to trying to keep people from being violent. And they've been on the streets, they've been out there demonstrating, but they do remain the least of the concerns of authorities.
Is there a feeling, though, amongst the people in St. Louis, in Ferguson, in surrounding neighborhoods, that enough is being done, that the threat of the National Guard will be enough? And let's also add Mother Nature to this, the fact that if the temperatures get down to minus or below 20 degrees, all that is going to help. Is there at least a feeling that a lot of this is going to help keep this down, if indeed, as we expect, and as some experts expect, and again, they don't know any better than we do, that the grand jury will not indict Darren Wilson?
Well, there is actually, it's not a foregone conclusion that the grand jury will not indict Officer Wilson. In fact, the longer the grand jury has been out, there are some who suspect the stronger the possibility is that he will be charged with something. There appears to be at least some semblance of a doubt in the grand jury's mind about the evidence, and they continually ask for more evidence. And in fact, it has been an exhaustive approach. And there are 12 jurors, 9 of them will have to have a unanimity together in order to proceed with an indictment. And it's not necessarily difficult to achieve, but at the same time, it seems the longer they go, the stronger the possibility is that he will be indicted. Now, there are some people who say that that doesn't matter, that even if he is indicted, they're concerned about the show trial aspect. But back to your point about the weather and about what's going on, again, I do, based on what the information I'm getting from law enforcement, is that these individuals hitting the streets and blocking traffic and doing that kind of thing are actually the least of their concerns. And they do have some strong concerns, especially since the FBI is involved, in individual pockets of domestic terrorism. And so, and these are people who are not connected to the folks like Reverend Lee and others who are in town, and corresponding with people in town from out of town, and there's that concern there. The weather, yes, that will dampen some of the street protests. In the minds of law enforcement, it would not deter people who are bent on actually doing horrible things.
And I think you brought up a good point as well, because there's always people out there who are looking for a reason to create violence, to create social unrest, whatever they can possibly do. Jamie, we're all out of time. Thank you once again for joining us. I hope we get a chance. As a matter of fact, let's talk again. Let's keep in touch. Let's make sure that everybody stays safe. I appreciate your time.
I definitely will be available to you. Sure.
All right. Jamie Allman, thanks so much. They wait to see what is happening in Ferguson, Missouri. We wait to hear what's happening as well. We'll keep you posted. Stay tuned. We question everything right here on MidPoint.